have some?
Hey everybody, thank you for joining us. My name is Charles.
And I'm LaTia.
And we are Marriage and Third Ring. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes out of your day just to join us. We had a little bit of technical difficulties this morning, but hey, we are back. We are live. We did take a couple of weeks off. We had spring break, and then so thank you again we appreciate you for joining our Facebook. We're on YouTube, right? We're on YouTube. Joining our YouTube live. We appreciate it. Thank you. We appreciate it. So, yeah. Oh, my name is Charles.
And I'm LaTia.
Yeah, we are. Look, you take 2 weeks off and you forget what you got going on. So, okay, we back. All right, so go ahead, Tia. What are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about marriage and money.
So we are talking about marriage and money.
And the reason we're doing that is because April is actually Financial Literacy Month. And I just recently came out of a great budgeting class, and we were using some tools. And then we realized how important it is to talk about money and marriage, because sometimes that's something that's not talked about. And so many marriages end in divorce over finances and over money. And there's so many different rules people go by and different things. So just a general overview of marriage and money.
So when we brought the topic, when we were sitting here talking about the topic, the kids was like, don't when you get married, your money become her money. Or what did they say? They said, don't your money become her money, that she spends all the money. That's what the kids said. So no, that honestly is one of the misconceptions about money, that, the husband does all the working. The wife gets all the perks of having the money, and that may be the case in some households. And if that is your thing, we're not knocking it. But for the most part, in marriages, you need to know how to work together and how your finances are going to work for the house and how they're going to work for you. Yeah,
because I don't know many. And these days, we talked about gender roles earlier as well. But these days, so many different things work for different people. Yeah. Honestly, it's very hard sometimes to even manage. I think it was very rare that we've ever been on a one income type household.
I don't think
only, and there was times though, but then there was times where I might have worked while he went to school, or he might have worked while I went to school. Yeah. So, or a time where I went to work and he took care of the kids, and then I would come home, and then he might go to work in the evening, and I would take care of the kids and stuff. So sometimes it works. It's whatever works for you. And that's the thing. Sometimes we try to apply so many different things to how our relationships and how our marriage should work and how our finances should work. But it is really, you got to talk about it first of all. Sometimes talking about money, because honestly, how many of us have heard that money, and I'm going to say it this way on purpose, but how many of us have heard that money is the root of all evil?
I've heard that.
And and I said it that way on purpose because we all know it says the love of money in the scriptures. But so many times people say the money is the root of all evil. But at the same time, with anything, you need to be able to make money and make everything work. And you need to be able to,
I feel like we're on Blue's
adjust
Clues.
it with anything that you wanted. And you need to be able to adjust it to any way you want it. Charles did something different with the wonderful setup today. So he switched stuff, took away backgrounds and everything else while he was in his fixing stages. But so as I was saying, with money, just like anything else, you have to learn how to make it work for you, because without it, it does also make the world go round.
Oh, it definitely does. Money does provide you access to a great deal of things. Without having proper finances, it may be a struggle. Definitely going to be a struggle. I just actually did a project from our class, and we were talking about. Actually, my project dealt with affordability in the city of Charlotte. And how housing prices are actually increasing. So without having proper finances, it's going to create a whole litany of issues that could extend from, affording a house, affording food, taking care of the kids, even though they're in the background loud talking. Finances are an important thing to make sure that you're discussing in the household to make sure that you're able to move forward and thrive as a couple. That
is. Just some statistics really quickly. In America, finances is money is known as one of the leading causes of divorce in America. I believe it is number 2. But 20 to 40% of all divorces is because of financial problems. And that is, for every 10 marriages, 4 of them for every 10 marriages that end in divorce, 4 of them are because of money. So that's a high number.
It definitely is. And kind of what can we do to I guess resolve some of these issues about money? I mean, one of the things that we've always talked about is making sure that your communication with each other is up to par. Making sure you don't have any communication issues. So if money is an issue, definitely make sure that you talk about money, talk about how the finances are going to be handled. Make sure that you're unified in that front and as far as how you're going to handle your finances.
That's good. Another thing is, and like Charles said, talking about it. And I know that sounds so simple, but communication will save you so much heartache and headache down the line. If there is something that's going on and you are not comfortable with talking about it, that can be a problem. When you get married, hopefully you feel comfortable with talking to your spouse about anything. Hopefully that person is your best friend. So hopefully you got to talk about stuff. So if you think they are being very careless with money, you need to be able to speak up. Not in a controlling way, but in a way to make them understand why it might be a problem. So communication would be key. Before we even get into budgeting or anything like that, you got to be able to communicate. Because if you can't communicate, you can't communicate about the budget. How do you communicate about bills? Like, Charles really thinks our grocery bill is low sometimes. Like, he writes the budget and the grocery bill looks like $300 for the month. And
I'm not that bad now.
And I try to just tell him, like, okay, if you can make the grocery bill be $300 a month, then I'm going to need you to go and grocery shop. And he, because it's just not going to work in a house of 4.
I'm not that bad. $300 is low. I would normally budget $300 a week maybe, but that's still even pretty high. That's pretty, middle ground, I would say.
Okay.
But with any budget, you got to make sure that it works for you, I suppose.
But you see why it's so important to talk about it. That's why communication is key. Charles, what's some other ways that money might be a way to work with money, or to make money not be the cause, or to make money not cause a wedge?
Well, like you said, budgeting, communication, like you said, is one. Budgeting, setting a budget that actually works for all parties.
Okay.
So like you said, I usually will have, maybe only $300 every 2 weeks for food. You don't think that fits? But I guess it depends on the kids eating, how much they're eating, and how much they're not eating, making sure you're properly creating diets and plans. What is going on in this house right now? Make sure you're creating proper diets and plans that actually fit for your house.
Okay.
So, so while I say 300 might be good enough, it may not be if, we're not aligned on what we're saying, what should be the diet plan in the house. Okay,
that's good. If one of you have a crazy spending habits, sometimes even just, sometimes we forget to pay ourselves. So sometimes we might know that we have this budget and we might budget everything. So then we think we have this money, but then you didn't put your hair in there. You didn't put certain things. So there are certain things that we might not know that we need that we don't put in there, correct?
Right, absolutely. So that's one of my pitfalls as far as finances is making sure that I'm paying enough attention to when the kids' haircuts need to be done, making sure that we put money for incidental things. Kids need new clothes for anything that comes up with the kids' school. Like one of our kids came to us the other day talking about they need $50 because something happened at their school and the whole floor was being fined. So making sure that you're budgeting even incidental things into your budget and talking those things out, communicating those things out is very important.
Amen. And I want to bring up some of those. And like we seen, somebody said, swallow your pride. And sometimes we do. Sometimes we have our pride that we want to swallow because you feel like, you ain't gonna tell me what to do with my money. I will tell y'all, transparency. Charles likes to, I feel like he would be trying to budget everything. And I'd be like, wait a minute. But then like then he'd be like, paying. I said, you find bills to pay. Because then he'd be trying to pay extra bills. And I'm like, hold on though. I'm on a vacation somewhere. But I'm like, how did you find this bill? So sometimes though, that's why you got to talk about it. And then I got to realize that, okay, Tia, if this isn't paid, then you can't go here. You got to be able to keep a line and keep a balance to one another. Because y'all all can't be spending all the money.
So what'd you say the other day? Make the money make sense, right?
I said make the money make sense, yes.
So if I know that, we have this bill is due, why set ourselves up for failure for a disconnected utility and try to go on this trip or buy this thing or go out here to eat if I know for a fact that this bill is due and this is a responsibility that needs to be taken care of? So that's the way I look at it.
And I look at it like my father is rich in houses and land, and he holds the whole world in his hand. So he gonna make sure that it's taken care of. But I'm gonna use some wisdom with it, cause I will say that it's gonna be good because we ain't gonna have nothing disconnected. But I know
we haven't had anything disconnected in a very long time. We've been good. Lord has been
because
faithful.
of budgeting and keeping track on certain things. But so sometimes I be like, okay, yes, I'm gonna plan a year ahead. So that's one thing I had to look at when it came to, yes, we got these bills. Okay, so if I know I want this trip, let me start paying on this a year ahead. Let me break down that payment plan myself. So if I'm only putting $50 a pay towards this trip, it won't even seem like $500 has come out of anything.
Right.
So so that's the thing.
So getting her to that point is kind of the struggle.
And that comes with what someone said about acknowledging each person's strengths and weaknesses. That's good. I was just reading something because it was passed to me by somebody inside my home. But yes, but this is a good point because I was reading because somebody has said that a lot of men want women to be okay with them leading the house and being the head of finances because he feels like he's the head. But I just had this conversation with somebody at where I work at, and they were like, they said, I get I'm supposed to be the head. And they were talking about why they had an issue with some type of biblical marriages and stuff because he's supposed to be the head. But what if his wife is stronger in finances? I said, no. You being the head does not mean that you don't let her still do the things that she's strong in. Y'all complement one another. It does not mean you have to do everything.
Right. So, we file taxes, head of household on the tax thing. But that doesn't mean that you just rule over everything in the household. I mean, yes, men. I'm going to say it again. And
my husband is not an accountant, so he doesn't know that when you're married and you file joint, there is no head of household. But
it's on the tax thing. Whatever. But no, the point I'm saying is that yes, men are the stronger vessel, so we tend to handle things physically more, but. And when it comes to finances, I only really started taking the finances, at least started budgeting for finances within the last, 5-6 years?
Mm-hmm. But if he thought he took the finances, and that means I can stay at home all the time.
No, I mean, as far as budgeting, not like I take care.
But I only did that because I was being so good tonight, and he went back about 5 episodes ago to say stronger vessel. Please watch the replay about 5 weeks ago and find that video But I'm gonna leave it there. But that's what he tried to poke a bear. But
the fact of the matter is, it is true that yes, I'm strong on some areas. You're strong on some areas, but we're both weak in some areas. But we kind of cover each other's weaknesses and complement each other's strengths.
You complement each other's strengths. I'd like to say that you don't get married; they don't complete you, but your spouse, but that you complement one another because you should be whole before you get married.
And budgeting, maybe a little bit of your weakness.
No, it's not. Not after I finish my class that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Now that I finished my class, I actually found some tools that even though we did budget, that we wasn't doing some things right. So I found some great tools to help us be able to make our money make sense and work for us a little better.
Okay, so how do you? I mean, you're taking the class. I'm not. How do you make your money make sense?
So if you pull it up, and then for you all that's watching on today, I want to just let you know that we do have yes, and it'll be posted for you. So it's called Game On. And the course instructor, Al Riddick, he is amazing. And what he's doing is a flash sale for you. So it's actually taking $100 off of this 4-week program that you can do. And we're going to post this as long as you use this code when you go and log on. We're going to post it so you can know. But it is, and actually it's National Financial Literacy Month. That's what April is. But it's a step-by-step course to help you learn to make your money behave, create a system for saving, give every dollar an assignment. He had to help me understand that because I used to not want all my money to be in somebody's budget. But every one of your dollars needs to have an assignment. I felt like that was biblical right here because, you know, you got to stick to your assignments because we all should have an assignment just like our money should have an assignment. And develop a strategy to reduce your debt. So it was even things about developing a strategy to help reduce your debt, how you can get your emergency fund, how you can build a savings. He said whether you make $25,000 a year or $125,000 a year, he can help you save money. So we're going to give y'all this today and give y'all this code today. And I said, I even had Tony as one of my testimonials for him that even though we were budgeting, he helped us he helped with some tools to learn how to budget a little better. And for you guys, it's called Game On because there's all the worksheets and the budgets and stuff are all game type things. The Final Four, I don't know, draft nights. So different things like that. So it's good. So we're going to share this with you because this right here can help you think about your money, help you keep track of your money, and to help you make your money make sense. Okay.
Well, so I knew she was in this class. She was giving me homework off of the class, and I wasn't even in it. So I was helping her make a budget, but.
And it's great to do it together. The reason I did it first was because my job took care of us doing this, and they paid for the whole thing. So if they were going to pour into it, it's because they wanted the money we were getting to make it for us to be able to make it work because they care about that of their employees. So that's why I would do it first because it would be like during the daytime. But then I would bring the homework home and share it with my spouse because if you're in a marriage, your money eventually comes together. I don't care if you have 2 separate bank accounts. Something from your money should probably come together unless you have another understanding and another way that your finances works for you.
No, I agree. I mean, even though you were in class and you was giving me the homework, so I'd agree that, things should make sense. So I'm on board with that.
Okay. Anything else? I mean, it wasn't going to be a long night.
Do you have a code for that, you said?
It is right here.
Oh, dude, I couldn't even. I got the glasses on and still couldn't read that. So the code, she said, she didn't say it.
Because we will post a flyer.
Okay. GTB50 is the code.
Yes. Right. And it's game time budgeting. Thinkfic.com. And, well, THINKIFIC.com.
Thinkific.
Yes. So
what did you say?
I said Thinkfic. So we're gonna post a flyer
there so they can see that.
So you can get this information. When I tell you this man is very personable, he even does check-ins. That's why I gotta make sure I'm being on task because he does 30, 60, and 90-day check-ins. Because their goal, I think him and his wife went from debt to, I forgot, millionaires or something. They made some kind of, different magazine covers and stuff like that, NerdWallet and stuff. So just wanted to say, it's good to learn. And I said, seek wise counsel. Don't have your friends who don't have a savings account teaching you how to manage your money. So think how to make it work.
Okay.
So?
No, I mean I'm on board with this. I mean, like I said, you just kind of gave me the homework, so I'm like, okay, let's just kind of get this done.
And the main thing is, and honestly, when we came on today, because I was like, well, it's April, it's financial literacy. We can answer more questions about finance. We have even sample budgetings we can send out. We just want to let you know, though, that finance is not, if you're dealing with financial issues in your marriage, you're not the only one. That's why so many people try to manage. They try to maybe talk about it or not talk about it or different things with financing. But the thing about it is you have to talk about it. You have to get in front of it. And then you have to understand and have a mutual respect for one another. Not like, oh, I'm just going to do this. Even if it is a one-income house, the wife is staying home with the children while the husband is working. Or the husband is staying home with the children while the wife is working. Because in this century, there is so many different scenarios that can happen with that. So even if you are, even if that is the case, you still make your wife and your spouse, wife or husband, bring them into the conversation. Make sure they feel valued in that conversation. Make sure, like I said, there is a mutual respect and that you get each other's feedback. I know we all think, my husband always thinks he knows what's best. But, and there is things that I be
I don't.
He always thinks. But it's okay. And sometimes when Charles first took over the electric bill, back in the day, it was cut off. He forgot to pay it. That never happened again. I grew up by a single mom, so I was very independent. So I used to want to take care of everything. But I had to learn to be, it's okay, here you go. Take care of this, because why not get some stuff off of your plate. Let them handle it. Something might happen. It's not no wrong decisions. It's decisions that go well and decisions that don't go so well.
So I remember actually at Damascus, a couple that was one of their complaints, that they had never experienced a utility getting disconnected.
Okay.
So what was the advice? Do you remember the advice we gave them? I mean, it's in line with.
And I'm sorry, Charles is taking me back a whole year.
Yeah.
To see what advice. Sometimes. No,
I know what we said.
Oh, okay, because sometimes. And I'm probably the one that gave the advice, but he probably know what we said. So I'm going to let him go ahead and take
okay. So you were saying that this was something that was the norm for this person?
Oh, yeah.
See, now you want it.
Yeah, and but I did, because the thing about it is, that's why it's so important. I get where he's going, because it's so important to talk about finances, because like I said, I knew to call to get an extension if it was for some reason that we was behind.
Yeah.
I knew to communicate, because even if you communicate with those people you owe them debts to, it might help. So I knew to communicate. He didn't know. In his mind, it's due. If I ain't got all that, I don't know what to do. So
I wasn't talking about me.
No, but that's how it was back then. Yeah. But, because he didn't, I had to handle stuff from a young age, so I knew to communicate. So that's why I tell everybody, in any situationship, in any relationship, anything like that, communication is key, even in your job. So definitely in your relationship. So that's what we told him, because you might not know your spouse's norm. You might not know how your spouse grew up. So when it comes to finances, you might want to talk to your spouse, because they might be able to, how can I put this? They might be the ones that get $10,000, and in a month that $10,000 is gone because I want this new Rollie, or I want them new J's. And
no, but talking about finances, even one of the things that we that's in the Simba's plan. Simba's is saving your marriage before it starts.
Yes, and if you have not taken Simba's, please do, because even for the married folks.
Yes, so Simba's Plus is for the married folks, but it takes you through a whole litany of not just questions, and it's not just a personality questionnaire, but it takes you through all this information to see how not necessarily compatible you are, but how your marriage, looking at it from a research standpoint, what pitfalls you may see and pitfalls you may run into. It brings up a lot of things that people don't necessarily talk about, before they get married. And that's really key, because if you're not talking about before you get married, it then becomes a mosquito. She likes to talk about her marriage mosquitoes, but then becomes a mosquito for something that you have to address later on, because you didn't address it, before you got married. You didn't address, something that may cause some potential harming issues, later on in the marriage, before you guys got married, when you had the chance to talk about it.
Okay, so
most of that is because you just didn't know to talk about that.
That's true. So before we end this, I just want to bring up some things that could be those conversation killers when we're talking about finances. And this is just to help, even if you're catching a replay, this is just to help. It talks about the spouse might say, if they understood how important this is to me, they wouldn't keep shutting it down when I try to talk about money. That's not true. Some people, I said this even when I was in financial class. No, some people don't want to budget because you feel like there is never enough money. So if you have a spouse that feels like he should be providing more, and I say he on purpose because a lot of times men feel like they're the providers, and if the money is not making sense, or if you're not making money, they feel like they need to provide more. And so if there is some financial issues, they're taking it on, but they're not communicating about it. So you don't know why they're stressed out when all you're trying to do is discuss it. So talk about it. So he might be shutting it down for a reason. You need to know what that reason is. It says, how can we both make this much money? And we said this before. How can we both make this much money but never have anything to save? That's a good one. And so that's why budgeting, financial literacy classes. I know you'd be like, whatever, you gonna tell me how to spend money I ain't even got. That's why I shared the one I shared with you all, because I'm confident that person is very relatable. And like I said, he said he could teach you how to budget even if you make $25,000 a year. So it's possible, because the thing is, you're not giving your dollars an assignment, and you're doing whatever you want to do. We communicate well in every other part of our lives, but can't even have a simple conversation about the budget. Whew, because nobody really wants to sit down. Now,
everybody get mad about money.
Or I will tell you, what's your time frame? Because my husband likes to have money, talks about money sometimes, and I'm just tired. But then I might want to get up in the morning and have conversations about money, because my brain, and I'm up now. And then he's like, it's too early. So come to a agreement of time, because if his check's hitting, Charles will get up and be like, I done paid all this stuff.
I will.
And I'll be like, huh?
Because I know when rent hits the ledger. I know when my car payment hits.
But yeah, so I'm like, huh?
So I mean, yeah. So if I know these things need to get paid, pay them when the money is.
But bring it to a conversation. You see, and so these are some things that you can talk about when you talk about money. And then,
so as far as picking the time thing, she's right. We did used to get up like not early Saturday morning, but we would get up Saturday morning, have some coffee, and then start talking about bills. We did used to do that.
We did. We set times. Sometimes you have to set times. Just so you know, you cannot out earn money stress. Cause guess what? There is people that make $200,000 a year and they still are stressed out about finances and money. Mm-hmm. Believe it or not, because guess what? You make more money, you get more bills a lot of times. You want that bigger house.
More money, more problems, right?
More money, more problems. You want that bigger house. But it doesn't have to be more problems.
Bigger house.
It doesn't have to be bigger problems if you understand where your money should go and if you assign your money. Budgeting as a couple is not just about spreadsheets, restrictions. And that's me. I feel like budgeting is so restricting. I feel like you're smothering me sometimes with a budget. I have a different mindset about it now a little bit, or prioritizing spending. It says, what would your lives look like together if you could trust yourselves and each other with money? If I could just magically make it so you two could have a healthy, safe financial conversation together and an adaptable, personalized plan for your money, how would that make you feel? So sometimes even if you can be understood and seen and heard, that's a connection right there. So if you can get on the same line with your money, that might even make you go deeper intimately because you have connected with that.
That sounds like I see you.
It sounds like that. Yes, it sounds like you are being seen. Charles keep dropping hints. Yes, he does. What would you be able to do that you can't do now? What would your relationship look like? So that is some of the things about finances. So I don't want to hold y'all. Money is always that iffy thing. You know, everybody get quiet when they talk about money, even in church. But my thing is
nobody wants to talk
knowing where your money is and how it's being used. It will make you feel so much value and like you're not going to work just to pay bills.
Just to pay bills, right?
Yeah,
we've been there.
Amen. So yeah, so I don't have. That's all Tia have to say today.
Tia on off camera.
Oh.
But okay, so we just really had that quick conversation we wanted to get out there. So this is not really something a lot of people are going to jump in. Like we said, nobody likes talking about money. But catch the replay. It'll be there.
Alrighty. Thank y'all so much for tuning in tonight. I appreciate y'all.
Definitely make sure that if you have not subscribed to this to our Marriage the Third Ring channel, go ahead and do so now. Script button is down below. I didn't have the graphic to make it flash up today.
And like it. Make sure you like this page as well. Yes. Share this video. Share it. And we think next week we should be on Facebook and
yes. We're gonna try to do
and this. So and actually we're moving into more interactive because it's been asking for people who want to come on and join. So we have all that planned for you. So thank you.